And we are live. Good evening. This is Omne Sanders down here of Overcoming the Odds down here in Jacksonville, Florida. And this is a really exciting topic. I know, personally stoked to share. This is came back from an event here about a few weeks ago in Dallas, Texas. So we're about to let you know as far as obviously a six-figure format routine. Obviously not going to guarantee you any results right off rip because obviously results are not typical. Obviously results do vary, but they are possible. So see our income disclaimer below as well, because I mean we don't know if you're willing to roll up your sleeves and get to work with something that's these simple steps or not. But without any further ado, let me go introduce my other business partner out there in the UK.
Hey everyone, Neil Henson here from the UK, currently 11 p.m. my time. So today we are going to go through it's what we would call your daily habits, and you know this is the prime, for me, the prime reason why anyone struggles in their business, because the number one rule to any business is if you're not consistent, you're not going to be successful. Those two go hand in hand, and we'll literally go through right the way through of the things you need to be focusing on in your business, and whether you realize or when you can make the distinction why you need to be doing these. We're going to hopefully give you a few ideas and a few examples why you need to be doing this and how it can help you in your business, and just really why you need to be doing it. And you might not connect the dots right now, but just trust us that these are the things you need to be focusing on in your business, because it will benefit you in the long run. So even if you can't connect the dots, hopefully you will by the end of this one. But if you don't, just still please do it, and you will benefit. You will reap the benefits from it in the months and even years to come. So just stay tuned, and we'll go through absolutely everything for you on this hangout. So I've sent it back over to you, Andre.
All right. This is something that I know between Neil and I, we were sharing this before we got here live. I'm just going to read this. It's something from Jim Rohn. And then again, I'm just going to share it with you real quick. Some people might not want to hear it, or so saying most people might not want to hear it, but you know what? I'm going to share this anyway, because this is true. As far as let me go right here. All right. The major value of reaching goals is not to acquire it, but it's the person you become while you're working to acquire it. Okay, you might not want to hear that, you know. I mean, you might like Jim Rohn, but it's like, man, come on, I just want to get straight to it. What's the six-figure routine format you're talking about? Well, you know, it's also a process, because as we Neil brought up a good point, it's a habit, but you know, habits have to, you got to get started with the habit. As far as you got to take those first steps. Now, obviously, the good and bad habits. I mean, I'm going to just sit here talking about the bad because that's easy. That's easy about the bad habits. Like perfect example, you see that in the New Year's resolutions all the time. It gets to the first, you get all pumped up. New Year, all right, new year, new day, new me, everything, all about that. And within, let's say, maybe a first couple seconds, first few hours of it, or maybe first few days, you basically say, forget about it. And then you're going through your years, basically the same thing. Unless you decide to change up, like we just mentioned, change up the habits. I don't know. Write down your goals might be a good way to. So maybe to repeat them to yourself daily, somewhere where you can see your goals written. You really want to be serious about this. I know this for this format that we have laid out, this is for somebody obviously who's a leader in our community. Again, who's a six-figure earner himself. So again, see our income disclaimer below what we're trying to talk about. Because again, we're not going to guarantee any results, but that's we just mentioned as far as what Jim Rohn said, is that process. That sweet process as far as who you become while you're becoming to get to these goals. So let's say, okay, you're in the home-based business profession, as such as we are, and you want to get underway as far as, all right, I need to, what do I need to do to give out something of value to my marketplace? Well, they always say, too, in the profession that we're in, is, it's nothing but personal development disguised as opportunity. So hopefully you're doing one thing that's really crucial, is either listen to audios or reading daily. You can go either one on this with this, but that would be number one right now. About listen to something inspirational, motivational. Hey, maybe it's some marketing tips. It's whatever your choice. But listen to that at least 15 to 30 minutes a day. And then also same thing with reading. Feeding your mind. Feeding your mind as well. It's about 15 to 30 minutes a day. Yeah, that's the basis. I know Eric Worre, the founder of Network Marketing Pro, he is into this, obviously religiously, but I mean, this is somebody who was in the profession for almost 30 years himself. He's mentioned so many times he has well over, my goodness, I think well over 200 friends that are $1 million earners in the network marketing profession alone. And I know you probably heard the phrase before. Again, if you've been in the profession, as far as leaders are readers. There you go. And he also listen to people that have success, because success leaves clues. As far as we talked about Jim Rohn just a few moments ago. Who is he a mentor for? Somebody that Neil loves to listen to himself, Tony Robbins. Success leaves clues, right? And this is Tony Robbins. He shared the stage with several, very famous people, motivational speakers as well. One of them is another personal favorite of myself. I don't know if you want to call him a personal, motivational speaker, is Robert Kiyosaki. He shared the stage with Robert Kiyosaki. He's huge on personal finance. If he's also the founder of the Rich Dad Company. So again, just throwing it out there. But I mean, this is numero uno. We can go on this all day, because if you want to bring value to your marketplace, you have to have this correct first. You got to have this wisdom between the years, because obviously, if you're looking at the news, putting garbage in your head, garbage in, garbage out. But the same thing can be as far as reading something good, reading something positive, So that's what I want to stay with that. I don't know if you had anything else to add on with that too, Neil, before we go on with this.
Yeah, and your approach to anything will determine the outcome. If you automatically go in there believing you can't do it, you won't do it. And this is why we tell you to listen to daily audios and read the books, purely because a lot of the books that we read, it's all about the daily struggle that people have, but yet they've got to the other side, and they've gone on to live a great life because they didn't take no for an answer. They didn't stop believing that it was possible. They didn't stop believing that they could actually achieve what they set out to do. And that's the kind of approach you need to have. It's the same approach. If for example, heaven forbid, anything happened to your family or anything like that, let's say, for example, worst case scenario, you had a family member that came down with a really bad illness, and you had to try and get something together. You had to try and find a cure. Now, you could say, the chance of you finding the cure, very slim, because if doctors don't know, then, chances are it's going to be quite hard to find. But does that mean to say that it is a no-go? No, because, there are people out there. In fact, I've actually met a great lady who actually managed to cure herself of cancer without chemotherapy. And I believe, Andre, you actually met the lady as well. It's one of our friend Patricia's mentors. And she actually talked us through the process about how she managed to get over cancer purely by doing natural remedies. Now, if you'd have spoken to anybody about that, they'd be like, no, that's not possible. And even telling someone that they go through chemotherapy, they always look at you with, how are you doing? You're expecting the worst. And it's that kind of approach where if you've got the negative, if you've got expecting the worst, you're going to get the worst. And I'm sorry to phrase it like that, and I'm hoping that anybody that comes across this is not experiencing that. But what I'm saying is, you have to go at it like that kind of mentality, like, this is the only thing that matters right now. I need to find an answer. I need to find a way. I need to do something to get to where I want to go. There can be no plan B. There can be no other alternative. You need to go at it with everything you've got, and like nothing else matters, because that's the only way you're going to get to where you ultimately want to go. So when you're listening to these daily audios, when you're reading these books, it's kind of re-educating yourself to thinking that there's not just the way you're being taught in life, or maybe the experiences you've already had in life, where you've tried something and maybe it didn't quite work out as it planned, or maybe you didn't actually succeed, or maybe you had a little bit of success, but not quite as big as somebody else, and hopefully they're not the cases. Hopefully you did actually have some success. But what we're saying is, just because that's how it was, that doesn't mean to say how it's always going to be. And that's why we encourage you to read these books. It re-educates you into a different way of thinking. You just need to keep persistent with your goals. You just need to keep going, because the only way you're going to succeed is if you keep going. And, if you think about it like this, right? Let's say, for example, you try something and, I don't know, it didn't work out. So you don't do anything. And then 3, 4, 5 months down the line, something else comes across your way. and you just sit there and look back and just say, you know what? If I'd have just kept going, if I'd have done, if I'd have done this, and this, I would actually be there right now, and I'd actually be in the place to actually capitalize on that very problem, or to capitalize on that very thing that I could have actually gone on to give me this success. So whilst you're not actually you may not be experiencing the success up to that point, you have to be in that position in order to capitalize on this success that is coming. If you just stop and just give up, then you're not going to be able to capitalize on it because you're not in the right position. It's why it's so important that you keep going, because everything's lining itself up and it's just ready for you to capitalize on it, and you just need to be in the right place. But you can only be in the right place if you keep going, if you keep believing, and if you keep focusing. So this is why we encourage you to keep going with the daily audios and daily reading every single day.
Yeah, and that's true, Neil, because I don't know how many times I've heard it from Jim Rohn as well, as far as try to be someone of value, other than kind of what we were talking about before we got started live, as far as like expecting just basically have that entitlement mentality. I don't read the last few books I read from Robert Kiyosaki. He's asked that too. I know I used to fall into that trap until I realized, where did that entitlement mentality come from? I mean, as far as like, why not try to be somebody of value, somebody who, this is obviously too, this is another thing too, especially if you're in the online world and home-based business as well. Now you start becoming an authority once you started working your mindset. You like Neil just mentioned, you start to fix about what's going on through here in the head. And obviously now you start to have some people that either start following you as well, as far as okay, what kind of content does this guy have, or what kind of content does she have? It might even be the home-based profession. Maybe it's something like, let's say you want to be a baker or whatever. So you're just trying to learn as far as like being a better baker or whatever. You're trying to work on your stuff. Over time, and again, that's why we're not guaranteeing results, because obviously results are going to be different for everybody. That's why we're always going to keep on referring to our income disclaimer. But the thing is too, why not? Why not give it a shot? As far as let me try to be someone of value, and then after you decide to just go through those books or listen to the audios, either one. Now, number two, let's make a short video about that. I mean, we're not going to go stress too much as far as your camera shy. That's not the point. The thing is, as we just mentioned a few moments ago, as far as being somebody of authority, guess what? Now, when they see your face, now they can relate to you. You build some type of rapport, whoever you're following. You have an email list, or maybe you have a following to YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Now they can listen to you, be able to relate with you, or whatever. As far as like, I like what they're sharing. It does the video have to be perfect? No, that's the best part. That's the best part about it. I don't know how many times, Neil, we've heard some of the worst videos have been some of the greatest successes for people in this profession. And it doesn't have to be long. You can talk about it. It can be like 1 to 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. You should know your audience. That's the main thing. I mean, we're not going to get into that in depth as well either, as far as your target market. But why not shoot a nice, quick, short video as far as what you learned, maybe what you listened to, what you read. And trust me, you would think that, okay, what you're reading, you're like, man, there's a lot of people that might know about this already. You'd be so shocked. Nothing could be further from the truth as far as who you'll be surprised how many people don't know what you're going through. Just something as simple as that. It doesn't have to be real long, but something what you learned, you picked up something. It might be a sentence you just like, I like this. I'm just going to run away with this. Just get that camera out on the phone, share it real quick. Boom, put it out there, So that's just another thing. That's number two, because again, we're trying to give you this format and as well. But the thing is, like I said, is anything going to be perfect through this? Heck no. That's the beauty of this. That's what we're trying to get to. That's the point of trying to get to this. As far as it's your own style, it's how you want to be. Some people want to be at different locations or whatever the videos. You can be in the same location day in, day out, and I promise you, well, I'm not going to promise you, people are still going to relate to you just because it's you. That's it. So that's all. That's my take on it. I don't know if you want to go any further with that as well, though, Neil, as far as that.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing as well, though, because think about this, right? How many times have you been to a film and your outlook on it is completely different to somebody else's? And that's what the beautiful thing about this is, because you might look at it and just think, I don't like that. But then somebody else looks at it and goes, you know what? I like that. And it's not, what you have to do is take yourself out of the equation. You're shooting the video, okay, fair enough. But you have to take yourself out of the equation, because it's not you who you're trying to target. You're already in. You know, you're trying to get other people to take it, to pay attention to you, to actually want to join you as a lead, or, you know, as a customer. And it's up to you to just be yourself. You know, you have to be yourself. Don't try and edit it, make it look prim and proper, because that's not you. And the more the more you actually show yourself, the more people will actually like you. Because the one thing we don't like, I don't know if you've ever experienced this. I know I've experienced it quite a lot. I think personally, women are a lot better at this than guys as well, because they're quite sensitive. And that is that there's certain times, I've had this a few times when I've had a girlfriend and we've been speaking to someone and they've just gone, I don't know what it is, but there's something about them I just don't like. And you haven't seen it, they've just sensed it. And that's kind of the same thing when you're doing your videos. When you're doing your videos and you're putting them in prim and proper and making them, the lighting perfect and everything's perfect, people are not going to pay too much attention, because it's not real, it's all fabricated, and people can't relate to it, because the kind of people that you're perhaps targeting is, you know, up and coming. They haven't shot any videos yet. They don't know how to shoot their videos yet. So if you're shooting these prim and proper, you know, $1 million videos, you're not going to be able to relate to your real audience, because they're going to be thinking, well, I can't really do that because I haven't got the equipment. I don't know what I'm doing. You know, if you show them that you can shoot one in your bedroom, just literally picked up your iPhone or whatever phone it is you've got, right, shoot my video, done, upload it to YouTube, done. Only editing thing I do, I literally upload it I put it on my computer, and the only thing I do, I go to Windows Movie Maker, because I have a laptop, not a Mac, and I put it in there and I snip off the back end where I'm actually stopping the video. That's the only part of editing I do. So I literally stop it where you see me reaching up to the camera and stopping it. That's the only thing I do. So I trim that, and then that's it, throw it up. And that's what I encourage you to do. Maybe not, you know, it's up to you whether you want to do that, but that's just my personal thing. But I've got to the point now where I'll record a video and I will throw it up there, and I'm not bothered. You know, I did used to look at it and review it and thinking, have I said this? Have I done this? And it's almost like you're looking for a reason not to put it up there. And the thing is, you just need to get into that mentality of just doing it, because people are going to like you or they're not. And unfortunately, there are going to be people who just don't like you just because. But that doesn't mean to say anything. At the end of the day, everybody's cup of tea. You could be the nicest person in the world. Somebody's not going to like you, or I'm not going to say not going to like you, because that's horrible. But you know, somebody's not going to resonate with you in the way that your target market is. So, you know, don't try to please everyone. Just be yourself, and your target market, the people who are naturally going to respond to you, will. But they're not going to if you try to put it together as perfectly as possible, fabricate it, you know, customize it, and just edit it so it looks completely perfect. And if you're not putting your true message across, which you won't if you're editing everything possible, they're not going to see the real you. You're not going to see the personality come through. And this is where you're not going to attract your target market. And the people you do attract are not going to be the people you want to work with, and it's going to make your life a living hell, because you won't want to work with those kind of people. Not saying anything against them, but if they're not your target market, you know, have you ever worked with some people where they you know, you work with them and they're just like, they're great people, but they're just not my cup of tea. It's just you don't click with them, you don't connect with them as much as you would do with someone who shares the same you know, say you support the same football team, or you know, you have the same interests, or you like the same films. If you have so much in common, it's so much easier. Whereas if you've got someone who you talk to, and it's like you talk to them, but you don't really have much in common, and it's like, imagine working with those people, and again, nothing against them people, but there's no connection there, and it becomes hard work when you're trying to force something that can't be forced, because there's no connection there. Whereas if you've got so much in common because you have the same interests and you like the same things and all that kind of stuff, it becomes so much more of a joy to actually work with those people, because you have the same interests, and life becomes all about what you like. And that's the kind of people that you want to work with. Don't try and approach everyone possible, because not everyone's going to be suited to your business. Not everyone's going to be suited to your style, and you have to be okay with that. That's something that a lot of people, I know I struggled with when I first started doing it, because I was always frightened about being rejected. I was always frightened about people saying they didn't like it and all that stuff. But you know, as soon as you put them up there, you'll be surprised the amount of people that go, you know what, I like that. I like the message or whatever it is that they've got to say. And I'm not gonna pull any wool over your eyes and say you're not going to get any negative comments. Unfortunately, you will get some negative comments. You just have to ignore them, because the world's a big place, and those people are not worth your time. So you know, you just put them down and just go, you know what, I'm still going to continue going on. The more you do it, the better you'll get at, and the more normal it will feel, because this is the next step. The more you do it, the more normal it'll feel. At first, it's going to feel weird. You know, I remember when we first did our hangout, it felt weird just thinking about, you know, doing this every single Friday. It felt weird. But now it comes to Fridays, and I'm sitting there looking at it Friday thinking, it feels weird when I don't actually get on here. It just doesn't feel normal now, because we've been doing it for so long. And you do it so many times. It's like the old saying that we was once taught, and that is, you gotta get comfortable with being uncomfortable until it gets comfortable. So just basically just keep doing it. It's uncomfortable at first, but you keep doing it, and then eventually it just feels normal. And then that's when you start putting across your proper message, and that's when you start attracting the people. So it's not going to happen at first, and it certainly ain't going to happen overnight. Yeah, consistency. Remember the one thing that we said at the start: consistency is key. So you need to shoot your videos daily, and you need to listen to your audios daily, and you need to read your books daily every single day, because this is the only way you're really going to start making any progress online. So I'm sorry I went off on a bit of a rant there, but you know, it's just hammering home the message. You need to stay consistent with these things, because it's the only way you're going to get there.
Well, no, you know, as far as the rant, though, man, you know, because I mean, we can go on far ranting all day and night about that. But no, I read something too on Facebook about a couple months ago, as far as, you know, comfort zone is a beautiful place. Unfortunately, nobody grows there. So I mean, this is the reason it's going to help you, you know, let's say come out of your shell per se, as far as, you know, shooting a video for those that are camera shy. Don't know if you are or not, but I mean, if you are, this is going to just help you grow a bit more so. You know, and people, like he just mentioned, people are going to resonate more with you. They're not going to resonate with me. They're not going to resonate with Neil. They're going to resonate with who you are and how your video is shot. So Neil's right. Maybe sometimes you try to edit it, you have it just perfect. You spend this money on the video, doing all the editing. That's intimidating to some people. I'm just not going to lie. I don't know why that's the case, but for some reason this is at times. But if it's something that, you know, you're in a room like I am, you just shoot the video where you are, wherever, you know, not have holes in your shirts or whatever, whatever the whole 9 yards, people will be able to resonate with that more so. So something we have to leave you with as far as that. Now, obviously we talked about number one, as far as, you know, the daily audios or books, either or. Number two, we just said as far as shooting a quick video, somewhere between 3 to 5 minutes. You know, if you go further, that's great. You know, obviously still try to stay congruent. But again, we don't know your audience. That's another beautiful thing about all this, because it's you. And now number three, go put that same video on the blog post. We have one, by the way. Once you go to the bottom, it says yes, let me in. But the point is, with social media, and social media is great, not bashing on it whatsoever, but they do have their own terms and conditions as far as what you can do. For example, with Facebook, and let's say you have a fan page, if you wanted to do, let's say, maybe run an ad on that fan page, they might shut you down for whatever reason. You know, again, don't know why, but if you have your own blog, that's your own home base. You know, people can go people can go and find you where that is at. You know, so let's say, again, for whatever reason, let's say, just give an example. If it's Facebook and you try to run an ad or whatever, it shuts you down. Guess what? You have that posted on your blog. And then now the cool thing about this too, you might not even want to do a video on the blog. You might just want to go ahead and start typing away. That's just as good. But again, we're just trying to give you this layout as well, just so you can have this in the back of your head as far as like, they're talking to me as far as somebody who is a six-figure earner in the home-based business profession. This is what he did, and we're sharing with you as far as, you know, simple layout as far as boom, 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 what he got started to get on the way in the business. Now, obviously, his results are different, and obviously yours will be too. But I mean, Going back to what Neil just said, we don't know how consistent you're going to be. So we're going to share with this. We're going to share with you anyway. So that's why we're saying once you have number 3, post that same video in the blog, and that's why we like to call it sometimes double dipping. Let's say you have the video and put it on YouTube, and then you put it on your blog. One thing we didn't go too further in depth with as well, as obviously with social media now, be able to connect with each other as well. You can, let's say, connect that video to so many different other social media sites. Your choice. Not going to tell you which ones to do, but you know, it's a little, like I say, I like to call it double dipping. And now you can have that same video, create some content. That's not to be real long. If you want to go type up how long you want to be, so be it. Just maybe real type up short and sweet. I know personally I like to do that. I'm not too much long-winded when it comes to typing up a blog post. I see like keeping a journal or diary. So, you know, a journal or diary online. So that's why I think it's pretty cool. So, you know, something that people can relate with, you know, obviously to me. But again, I know my target market as far as exactly who they are, maybe what they're thinking, you know. So I mean, but again, we're not going to get too much depth of that. That's just going back to what we're saying. That's number 3. And so have the blog, have the video on the blog, create some content around that as well. And then I guess we'll get into right into number 4 as well, Neil. As far as the quick one, as far as now we're going to syndicate that particular blog post. So I know you want to mention that just a little briefly for somebody we learned too in the profession as well, who taught us something that we got from him about over a year ago, as well as where to syndicate. And you can go all day about this. You know, and I don't say all day. There's so many different, again, social media platforms as well. I know the forums as well, some blog forums, but I don't know if you want to go in depth about that too, Neil, as far as where to syndicate your particular blog post.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that people need to understand, because, you know, there are so many different platforms on there nowadays, and they're cropping up every single day. I mean, the latest trend at the moment is Snapchat. And people are talking about that's the latest thing, about how they're using that to recruit people into their business and stuff. And it's just about being able to use every single one you can. But you need to understand that you're not going to be able to use every single one of them because there's just so many. There are so many, it's unbelievable. Now, there are tools that can help you actually utilize it. I mean, for example, if you use Hootsuite, that's one platform I actually use. And from there, I can post videos, I can post blog posts, I can send them out to every single platform that I'm actually associated with. So I can actually send it out to Instagram, I can send it out to Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. I can do it to virtually every single platform. There are a few exceptions. Pinterest, I don't believe actually have a place where you can automatically post them, but you can get tools that will allow you to post to different platforms at different times of the day. You don't even need to be at your computer. I mean, there's Post Planner as well. I don't recall whether that's a Facebook platform or not. I'm not entirely sure, so I'm not 100%. But there are tools that you can use. So don't feel that you have to be on every single platform. What I would encourage you to do is decide on one platform that you're going to use. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram. Like I said, the list is endless. Don't feel that you need to be on every single one of them 24 hours a day because you're going to drive yourself and your business into the ground. You need to be able to utilize every single one of them because that's where you're going to get your traffic. But don't spend 24 hours a day on every single one of them because remember, consistency is key here. So why not utilize every single one of them, syndicate in every single group, but just focus on one specific method. So let's say, for example, you want to use Instagram. You're going to use Instagram, you're going to use that until you can get to a certain level. So let's say you can generate 50 leads a day in Instagram. You know how to do that consistently. Once you hit that level, you can then spend a little bit, because you'll get really good at it. You'll be able to do it every single day. And you could probably do it within about 10, 20 minutes a day. So what would normally take you 2 hours because you had to figure it all out, what to do, when to do it, and all that stuff, you've now limited it down to 20 minutes a day. One, you can start teaching that to other people, which means you can then start helping other people, and you can start hopefully bringing those people into your business. But you've now reduced that from 2 hours to 20 minutes, which means you've got an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes to then put that into another platform that you want to potentially use. So don't try and learn every single platform that's possible. This is the mistake I made. I was trying to figure out every single platform get everything perfect, and then I'll go out and take action. But the fact is, you need to use a platform. You need to understand how it works, how people respond, what's the best time, how many times a day you should post. You've got all these kind of questions that you need to answer. And then from there, once you've learned how to do it consistently every single day, you can then narrow it down so you know exactly how much time you can do it on a daily basis without, spending a whole day. I mean, who wants to spend all day in their business? Okay, yeah, you're building it, but we're building this business for a better future, not just for us, but for the people that we care about as well. And what's the point in earning all this money that you can make online, or and whatever else that you can do, if you've got no one to actually spend the time with? If you're literally just chained to your desk for 24 hours a day. We're trying to escape the rat race of the 9-to-5 job. So what's the point in leaving that if you're going to be chained to your desk all day? Focus on one method, master that method, spend an hour or two a day. Don't spend an hour or two a day on every single platform, and then master it. Get really good at it, become a renowned person for that method, and then start utilizing other ones. And I'm not saying you can't get good at the other ones, but become renowned for one. Remember, jack of all trade is a master of none. Become a master at one and become renowned for one particular platform, and then you can go out there and start teaching other people. And who knows, you might not bring them into your primary business if you're in network marketing, but you might get them, actually wanting you to coach them for that specific platform, and that's a second income then. And that's where you can start branching out and start getting all kinds of different income coming in, because that's the fun part. When you're getting paid from various different avenues at all times of the day, all times of the month, that's when the freedom really starts kicking in. So, don't try to master every single one of them, because this is the other thing as well. Facebook, forever changing the way they work and the rules that they have, and all that kind of stuff. And I would dare say that's the same with every other platform. YouTube. I've recently learned a few things on YouTube. I actually learned, this is quite an interesting thing actually, for those people who do actually shoot videos. If you shot a YouTube video, chances are if you're in network marketing, online marketing, you probably had one or more of your videos flagged as being spam, or someone basically saying, I don't like this video. Now, the old time, at least this is my understanding of it, the old style method was, if you got flagged, your account got closed, your account got shut down. Now I'm told that your video gets reviewed, and someone from YouTube then tells you whether or not that is actually compliant with what they actually want, because they don't want you to just throw up something in the hope that, basically with the sole intent of getting someone off their platform. They expect you to give their users a great experience, and that is no different what you're trying to do anyway. So if you focus on giving someone a great experience on YouTube, and someone flags your video because they say, I don't like this, it's network marketing, all that stuff, they flag it, someone from YouTube actually comes in and says, you know what, I like this video because it provides a great user experience for our people. Guess what? That video can no longer get flagged on YouTube ever again. So you have literally bulletproof. That video can never get flagged again. And that pretty much adds a safeguard to, I'm not going to say it's going to safeguard everything, but if you've got one video that can never get flagged, imagine if you could have that again and again and again. You would virtually have a channel which cannot be touched. So how good would that be? So if you focus on the value, then that's where, that's when you can really, really safeguard your business. But I'm getting off on a bit of a tangent, but I'm just giving you a prime example there, because that's something that has only, at least to my understanding, only recently been incorporated within YouTube. And I wouldn't know that if I wasn't in the game with YouTube. But you can't be in the game with YouTube like you can't be in the game with Facebook and then Snapchat and Instagram. You can't know how every single platform works. You need to pick one, you need to get good at one, and you need to understand how it works so you can start giving people that kind of information that they wouldn't otherwise know. That's when you start providing people with the value, they start following you around the internet, and eventually, like I said, they might even join you in your business, or they may even say, you know what, I want to learn how you do it. I want to understand how to build a business, and I need you to coach me. And that's, like I said, when you get a separate income. But it all starts with you mastering one platform. Master one platform, get good at it. I'm not saying you need to focus on one and ignore the rest. Remember, it's master one, but utilize as many as possible. But just remember, it's consistently. If you can't do everything that you're setting out to do on a daily basis, don't do it at all. All comes down to consistency. Consistency is absolutely key. And if you look at it and just say, can I do this every single day? If worst case scenario, I've got 2 hours a day, let's say that is on your busiest day where you've got everything going off, this is how much time you can dedicate to your business. In that time, can you do everything that you set out to do? And if the answer is no, then you need to figure out what is that you can do every single day, because that's what you need to focus on. I appreciate there are going to be some days where you can spend more time in it than others, but that's not consistency. You need to be consistent at it, and in order to do that, you need to do things on a daily basis. So stick to the things that you can do on a daily basis, be consistent at it, and that's when you're really going to start seeing your business grow. But stick to one method, one platform, and just get good at it, get really good at it, understand how it works, just get renowned for that. And then you can start moving on to others, but not until.
I'm glad you mentioned that too, because that was also the next point we wanted to get to is number 5, as far as, staying, finding that one single marketing strategy as what he just shared to working to master that. I remember hearing from a 7-figure earner too over a year ago as well, said the same exact thing Neil just shared as well. And really anybody that's, any successful entrepreneur, they are really good at one thing other than a handful of things as well. There's really one thing that just helps them stick it out. It pretty much helps them stick out in their target market. And that's in any profession. It doesn't matter what profession it is, what industry, whatever. It's always that entrepreneur has that one thing that they are good in. Now, obviously, they have a lot of people helping them out too, whether it be employees or the business partners or well to help them, even stronger. But the thing is, it's always that one thing that they learn to master, and they are real good at it. So I'm glad Neil had shared that as well. So just try to go back and what we're covering too, because I missed one point. We said number 1, as far as obviously the daily audio or reading, at least 15 to 30 minutes. You can go a little bit more if you want, 30 to 60 if you choose. Number 2, creating the video, and then just post. And then I have to listen to whatever you read or what you read, but to listen to it, whatever. Say not listen to what you read. After you listen to whatever you heard in the audio or what you read, again, same thing. 15 to 30 to 60 minutes. 3 was obviously post that video on the on the blog, and then create content with it. And then we said obviously the next point was for syndicating the blog. Almost forgot as well. If you're in the online world, also too, you should be building a list. So let your list see that what you shared. Those are people that are also following you. Like from you seeing followers on Instagram or Twitter. Same thing. Let those people see what you shared, because they're curious as far as what you're doing. Sometimes we've heard stories too that people have been on people's email list for years before they started to join them. But they keep on opening those emails because of the value what you're bringing out. So just want to leave you that as well, to go along with the syndicated blog. So that was also too going along with the 4th step, and then what Neil just shared as far as, find out one strategy and master it. And then he's right, because once you learn to master one strategy, then you can go and try to branch the other ones to just help you, really help you branch out in your business. The thing is too is really focuses strongly as far as trying to get that one thing mastered. I know I fell into that trap too, as far as trying to do so many different things at once. I was like, I felt like I just didn't get anything done, unfortunately. Don't know if you have yourself as well, for those watching, but I mean, that's kind of get you kind of like out of your loop as far as like, okay, let me just focus on one thing and just handle it, and it's really, spend about 30 minutes, really research as far as what it is that you want to do. If you're not too sure, you might be wanting to say, okay, let me just do blogging. Okay, that's fine. Or like Neil say, you wanted to work on this YouTube videos. I didn't know that what he shared. So, that's a pretty cool thing as well. Too, there are people that just, even though they're trying to be, trying to shut the video down, that, hey, you can keep on giving that value. And, sometimes that value is just going to override. Some people just want to just be like, the haters that you have out there. The last step we want to get to is once you have all this content, walk away. Don't worry about trying to check to see if you got a like immediately after you posted it, you know, or like how many views that you have in the video. Walk away from it. You know, you're done with your work. You know, it should not be something that you spend 23 out of your 24 hours of your day just to get some content out for the day. It should not take you that long. You know, again, you're trying to put out, you're trying to put out some good content out there into the marketplace. And, you know, unlike the offline network marketing part of the world, I'm not bashing on it, but the thing is, you don't have to worry about driving towards somebody, driving somewhere to go, or maybe have a home meeting somewhere. Well, you put it out there online, you're able to reach out a bigger audience. You know, it's a little bit of leverage. It's a lot of leverage. I want to say a little bit of leverage. Again, I'm not knocking on people that are doing the traditional network marketing way, because obviously it still works. But I mean, once with the social media, you know, obviously with this thing called the World Wide Web, we're not going to leverage this. You know, and once you're done with the content, just walk away. You know, you're done for the day. You're done for the day. You know, don't want to check out, see everything, like I have this, that if I like it or whatever. You will more than likely have more lookers without commenting, liking, or sharing your information. You know, and then maybe down the road, you're gonna have some people like, man, I really like what you shared, and you be like, I've had it happen. I've had it happen to me. You know, people at the gym, maybe some coworkers. This happens. You know, we have the strong call to action. Hey, comment, like, or share. Let me know if you got value from this below. And you're just still gonna have those lookers. That's cool. But what Neil said earlier is the key thing about all this: being consistent with this. Again, this is for somebody who was in our community, who is driving at least 25 people in a day into his business. Obviously, his results are typical, so I'll get to your information below. But the thing is, too, this is what helped him get started when he got up to 6 figures. This is his own routine. Obviously, he does some other things as well, but this is something that he did to get started at first. He didn't get 25 people in a day when he first got started. You know, he said he had to roll up the sleeves and be like, you know what, I got to make this happen. You know, so this is the reason why we had this layout for you, as far as like, okay. And again, if you look, going back to what we said as far as just having a blog platform, we have them below, so you can go through that for yourself. For, $17 for a 2-week trial, and have your different theme settings. You have free you have customer support as well to help you out if you have any questions or whatever. But this will help you get on the way if you do not have a blog. So this just go ahead and leverage what we have as well. And again, like I said, just stay consistent with it. It comes down to this. And Neil and I, we mentioned this before we got on the way here live this evening. How badly do your goals mean to you? How badly does it mean to get to your dreams? As what he shared earlier, it kind of made me, as far as when Napoleon Hill mentioned Thinking of Rich, the story as far as 3 feet from gold. It's like, man, if I had just stuck with it, you were like right there. It's like, firstly, that gives me the chills as far as like if I were to walk away from what I'm doing, and then just like down the road, like, man, I'm right there. Somebody that whatever happened just really helped me explode. That gives me the chills always thinking about that, as far as like, just keep on being consistent with it. But I mean, majority of people are not willing to. That's the reason why, going back to number 1, we stress that so much as far as working your mindset, because to go against conventional wisdom is unfortunate what society puts in your head and want you to feel like there's a lack of abundance, no prosperity in the world. It's really sad. It really is. That's the reason why we were stressing that so much, and we always will, because you got to be straight between the ears before we have anything we want to share as far as laid out here. Because it's easy to hear somebody that might be successful entrepreneur or something, you're thinking, good for them, or that can't, or I won't. Those limiting belief words that just shut you down. It's like, why in the world you want to shut yourself down with that? You only have one life to live, so why not give it a shot? So I know if you have anything else to add on to with that last point as well, Neil, as far as just walking away when you're done with your work.
Yeah, and it pretty much goes back to the same point I was making earlier, and it is, there's only so much time in the day, and the fact is we're here online because we want to build a business online. And the reason why we want to build a business online is because we get to choose what hours we work, we get to choose when we work, and the best thing about the internet is we can also choose where we work. So, you know, you have a lot more freedom to do things where, when, how, and even if you want, when it comes to being online against a traditional 9 to 5 job. But there's no point in working all the hours God send if, you know, I'm sure the very reason why you came online is because, not just because you wanted to build a business online, but because you wanted the freedom that comes with it. So whether that's spend more time with your family, your, you know, maybe it's your wife, maybe it's your husband, maybe it's your kids, it can be a whole host of different reasons. But I'm sure I'm sure you would much prefer to be spending time with them than you would do actually continuing to build your business, because there's only so much you can do in a day. You know, you can't build a company the size of Google inside a day. Certain things have to take time. So what you do is, so what Andre says, you post it up there and then you leave it for a day. Come back to it the next day, and then maybe if you've seen some people that have commented and likes and stuff, you know, if you see some people do it, maybe check it on it in a couple of hours. If you can, great. If you can't, don't worry about it. Point is, you can always come back to it another time. You don't need to spend 24 hours a day just looking at it. Oh, somebody else is interacting with it. That kind of mentality is one of those scared mentalities. Means you're scared that if you don't interact with them, they're not going to join you. And that kind of mentality is going to scare people away than anything else. You know, you have to have this thing of just thinking, you know what, I'm just going to throw it up there, and anybody who comments on it, I'll interact with you. And if you don't, that's fair, and that's cool too. Maybe some people, you know, I don't always comment on every single video that I see. I watch it and oh, that's cool. How do you know so many people are not doing exactly that? You know, they're watching it, but they're not ready to interact yet. Or maybe they watched it and they just didn't have time because they got called away. I mean, how many times have you been watching something and you get called away because, you know, maybe your wife shouts you down because you've got some dinner on the table, or maybe your kids need to be taken to football practice or dancing or whatever it is that they do. You know, there could be a whole host of different reasons what stops you doing the things that you're doing. But that's not to say that they're not interested and they're not watching. But they won't be able to watch if you don't continue doing what you need to be doing. You know, same as what Andre said earlier. There are countless people, countless top marketers that will attest to the fact that there are people that join them years, months, you know, some weeks, some months, some years. I think the longest I've ever known was one of our mentors, Mike Hobbs. He actually had, I think it was 8 years. Someone was actually on his list before they actually decided to take action. It can take that long, but if you're not consistent and you're not in the place, you're not going to be able to capitalize on it. And if you don't continue to take action, you won't be in that place. You've just got to believe that whatever you're doing is going to work. And that's where it starts with. You need to believe it. Once you believe it, you will do the daily actions. If you don't believe in yourself and you don't believe that it's possible, you're kind of working against yourself right from the start. Got to start with belief. That's the first thing you need to do. Believe it's possible. Then you set a plan of action. This is what I'm going to do. This is the amount of time I have. This is what I can do in that time, and this is what I'm going to do every single day. Rain or shine, I'm going to do this every single day. And you do that every single day. And then with that, you become better at it, you become more efficient at it, and who knows, you might be able to start finding other things that work. Because here's the other thing as well. This is the last thing I will share. You can actually say, let's say, for example, you decide you're going to use 5 platforms. So let's say you use Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Google+. Let's just say, for example, you use those 5. How many of those 5 do you think is going to work for you straight away? None. It's going to take a bit of time. But in that time, do you think that these 5 are going to be the only things that you're going to continue to do? Because let's say, for example, you try Twitter, but after 3, 4, 5 months, you notice you're getting literally no results from Twitter. Are you going to continue to use Twitter? No, you're not. Nobody's going to continue to use something they're not going to get any benefit from. So you drop Twitter and you go, all right, I'll try something else. And this is the thing, you don't know what platforms are going to work best for you. It's all to do with test. You know, a lot of people automatically go to Facebook because it's the biggest platform. But that doesn't mean to say that you're guaranteed to get results on it. There are so many people out there that say, I prefer to use Twitter. Some people will say YouTube. Some people will say Instagram. Everybody has their own. It's up to you to find yours. So you just go out there, you just pick one and just keep going at it. And if it doesn't work, or you're not getting quite the results you are with another platform, fair enough. Then you go with the numbers. Always go with the numbers. Whatever your data, whatever your tracking is telling you, whatever you're getting the most interaction on, whatever you're getting the most clicks from, leads, even sales, hopefully, whatever it is, that's what you need to go with. That's what you need to do more of. You need to figure out what you're doing and increase that. But whatever you're not doing so well in, don't be afraid to drop it. Drop it, find something else, because it's all to do with your business. You know, so many people get so emotional because they want it to work. They want Facebook to be their #1 platform. They want to be using certain platforms. Forget it. At the end of the day, if it's not working for you, don't be afraid to drop it. You can't force something that is not going to happen. Just don't be afraid to say, you know what, not working. I'll come back to it later. It might just be not working for you right now. Come back to it later. Focus on the things that are working. Because once you do that and you get some really good results, who knows, you might come back and then come back on Facebook, for example, and say, hey, I've just had this amazing result with this platform and I've been able to do this. So let's say, for example, you've been able to generate 50 leads a day using Twitter and it takes 10 minutes a day. How great would that be to actually broadcast on Facebook? How many people do you think would turn around and say, yeah, I'd love to know how you do that? But that will only be possible if you focus on the platform that is working in the first place. So just pick whatever you can do in however much time you can do in a day. So if you can only do 1 hour, what platforms can you use in that time? Stick with that on a daily basis. Find what works. Don't be afraid to drop anything that doesn't, and find something else, because there are 1,000,001 different platforms on here nowadays. So just do whatever it takes. Don't be afraid to drop anything that doesn't work and find other things that, to try, test, see whatever else. So I'll leave to that. Anyway.
All right, that's true. And if you got value from what we shared here, yeah, go and comment below. Comment below if you got value from this, because again, this is something that I know I was kind of stoked when I saw this too. We had to share this out since people always want looking for the secret. Like, what's the secret? Well, it's really not a secret, because you just keep on mentioning, we sound like a broken record player as far as, how hard are you willing to work and how hard are you willing to make it happen to reach your goals, to reach your dreams. Just being real blunt with you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, because that's the reason why it's some kind of thinking about this when we had a guest a few months back too. It's like, the reason why we're talking about income disclaimers, because, most people are not ready to get up on their butts. So they're thinking, okay, I can get rich real quick, maybe within a month, whatever. This is a process. Remember, going back to what we said about what Jim Rohn said, it's not always the goal, and you realize this when you choose to stick with it and be consistent with it. It's the person you become while you're, working to obtain the goal. So again, something I just wanted to leave you with. So again, if you got value for what we have been sharing, comment below, and I'm ready to just go lock arms with us. See that nice little green link below, so you can have your own platform be underway, your own blog platform to get away. Go ahead and go toward that yes, let me in. So with that being said, we'll see you same time, same place next week.
Take care, guys.